In New Orleans, every street has a story. From haunted mansions to restless spirits, we're bringing 12 mysterious legends back to life. Number 1. Voodoo Queen Marie Lavo. In the heart of 1800s, New Orleans, there lived a woman whose name would become legend. Marie Lavo, the Voodoo Queen. Born a free woman of color in 1801, she rose to power not through fear, but through respect. She mixed Catholic beliefs with African traditions, healing the sick, blessing the poor, and holding powerful ceremonies in Congo Square. People from all walks of life came to her for advice, blessings, and protection. Marie Lavo became a force in the city, not just spiritually, but socially. She was known for her charm, intelligence, and influence. She would walk the streets with a snake around her neck and a crowd following behind. Even judges and politicians were said to fear crossing her. No one could explain how she knew everyone's secrets, but those who doubted her often changed their minds after a single visit. When she passed away in 1881, many believed it wasn't the end. Visitors still come to her tomb in St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, leaving gifts and drawing X's on the stone, hoping to earn her favor. Some even claim to see her spirit wandering near the grave, dressed in bright scarves and surrounded by an energy that makes the air feel charged. Even today, her name is spoken with a mix of reverence and wonder. Marie Lavo wasn't just a healer or priestess. She became a symbol of New Orleans itself, mysterious, powerful, and full of magic that refuses to fade. Number 2. The Ghost of Pirate, Jean Lefit. Jean Lefit was no ordinary pirate. In the early 1800s, he ruled the waters around New Orleans, running a smuggling empire from the bayous and swamps. He was clever, bold, and unpredictable. Though wanted by many, he became a hero when he helped defend the city during the War of 1812, using his ships and men to drive back the British at the Battle of New Orleans. After the war, Lefit disappeared into legend. Some say he died in battle, others claim he faked his death and sailed away with treasure hidden along the Gulf. But many believe he never truly left. In the French Quarter, especially near the old Lefit's blacksmith shop bar, one of the oldest buildings in the city, strange things are said to happen when the sun goes down. People have reported seeing a tall man in old-fashioned clothing standing silently in the shadows. Bartenders say glasses fall off shelves for no reason. Tourists snap photos only to find a figure in the background that wasn't there before. Some believe Lefit still guards his secrets, watching over the place where he once ruled. The legend of Jean Lefit lives on in whispers, in flickering lights, and in the uneasy feeling that someone is always watching. Number 3. The Rugaroo. Deep in the swamps and bayous around New Orleans, there's a creature that still haunts campfire stories and late-night whispers, the Rugaroo. This terrifying legend comes from Cajun folklore and tells of a werewolf-like beast with glowing red eyes, long claws, and a hunger that never ends. It walks on 2 legs like a man, but moves with the wild power of a beast. Some say the Rugaroo is a cursed soul, a person who broke the rules of Lent or lived a sinful life. Others say it's passed down through blood, where one bite or even one look from the creature can turn you into one of its kind. The legend has been around for centuries, blending old French tales with the eerie mystery of Louisiana's wetlands. People living near the swamps still take the story seriously. At night, strange howls are heard in the distance, and fishermen have told of huge shadows slipping through the water. Some believe the Rugaroo only shows itself to those who are alone, and unlucky enough to cross its path. It doesn't chase its victims. It waits, watches, and chooses the right moment to strike. Even today, the legend of the Rugaroo lives on. There are festivals in its name, warning signs posted in rural towns, and kids who grow up learning not to wander too far after dark. Number 4. The Singing Woman of Bourbon Street. In the heart of the French Quarter, where jazz spills from every corner and Bourbon Street never sleeps, there's a legend that doesn't make it onto the tourist maps. Locals call her the Singing Woman, a ghostly figure who appears late at night, humming a sorrowful tune that floats just above the sound of music and laughter. The story goes that she was once a blues singer in the 1920s, known for her beautiful voice and heartbreaking songs. She sang in smoky clubs and dark bars, pouring her soul into every note. But one night, she vanished without a trace. Some say she was murdered by a jealous lover. Others believe her sadness simply consumed her. Either way, she was never seen alive again. But that doesn't mean she left. Bartenders and street performers have heard soft singing when the street is nearly empty, gentle, mournful, and coming from nowhere. Tourists walking alone sometimes feel a chill and hear a woman's voice just behind them. A few have even caught glimpses of her in a flowing dress, standing beneath the gas lamps before fading into the night. The singing woman may be a ghost, or maybe just a memory that refuses to fade. But in a city where music never dies, it's not hard to believe that her voice still lingers, haunting the streets she once called home. Number 5. The Axemen of New Orleans. In the dark days of 1918 and 1919, a terrifying figure roamed the streets of New Orleans. Known only as the Axeman, this mysterious killer broke into homes at night and struck fear into every neighborhood. He didn't rob or steal. He simply left behind shattered doors, blood, and a city too frightened to sleep. What made the Axeman even more chilling was the strange letter he sent to the newspapers. In it, he claimed to be a demon who loved jazz. He promised to spare anyone who played jazz music loudly on the night he chose. That evening, the entire city turned into a concert. Bands played, families danced, and every home filled with sound in hopes of avoiding the axe. The killings stopped as suddenly as they began. The axeman was never caught, and no one truly knew who he was or why he did it. Some believed he was a madman. Others thought there was something more supernatural behind his crimes, like a spirit feeding on fear. To this day, people still talk about the Axeman. His legend lives on in music, books, and ghost tours. In a city known for its rhythm and mystery, his story remains one of the most haunting, proof that sometimes the scariest things are the ones we never truly understand. Number 6. The Myrtles Plantation Ghosts. Just outside of New Orleans, in the quiet town of St. Francisville, stands a beautiful old mansion called the Myrtles Plantation. But behind its charm lies one of the most haunted places in the South. Built in 1796, this plantation has been the center of ghost stories for over a century, and many believe it was built on cursed ground. The most famous spirit is Chloe, an enslaved woman who, according to legend, was punished harshly and may have poisoned the family out of revenge. Some say she was caught and hanged, and her spirit still lingers. Guests have seen a woman in a green turban wandering the halls, her face sometimes appearing in photographs where no one was standing. But Chloe isn't alone. The Myrtles is said to be home to at least a dozen ghosts. Children laughing in empty rooms, a mirror that refuses to stay clean, and footsteps heard when no one is near. Some visitors have even fainted while walking up the stairs, claiming they felt something cold wrap around them. Even today, the Myrtles Plantation draws curious travelers, ghost hunters, and those who just want to feel the chill of history. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, this southern mansion holds a past that refuses to stay silent, and legends that still whisper through its halls. Number 7. The Shadow Men of Voodoo Rituals. In the heart of New Orleans, where voodoo has deep roots and powerful traditions, there are whispers of spirits that don't always show themselves in light. These are the Shadow Men, mysterious figures said to appear during certain voodoo ceremonies, always standing in the corners, watching without a sound. They don't speak or move much, but their presence is said to change the air around them. Some believe the Shadow Men are spirits known as Loa, ancient beings who serve as messengers between the living and the spirit world. Not all of them are friendly. Some come with warnings, others with mischief, and a few, like Baron Criminel, bring chaos if treated with disrespect. Practitioners say they can feel the moment a shadow enters a room, even if it leaves no footprint behind. There are stories of people seeing tall, dark shapes in mirrors or windows during rituals, always just at the edge of vision. Sometimes the flicker of a candle or a sudden gust of wind is the only sign they were there. A few claim the Shadow Men have followed them home, appearing in dreams or vanishing just before sunrise. In a city where magic and faith walk hand in hand, the Shadow Men remain one of the most unsettling parts of voodoo lore. Whether they're protectors, judges, or watchers, one thing is certain: when the drums begin and the candles are lit, you never know who else might be in the room. Number 8. The Casket Girls of the French Quarter. In the early 1700s, when New Orleans was still young and wild, a group of women arrived from France. They were called the Casket Girls because of the small coffin-shaped chests they carried, holding all their belongings. They were meant to be brides for settlers in the colony, but rumors quickly grew that their luggage held something far darker than clothes. Locals began to whisper that the chests were too heavy, too quiet, and too sealed. Some said the girls never aged. Others believed they brought vampires with them, hidden in the caskets or hidden inside themselves. The Ursuline convent, where the girls stayed, became the center of the story. Its third-floor windows were permanently sealed with nails blessed by priests. Strange things began happening around the convent. People claimed to see figures standing in the windows, even though no one was allowed up there. Lights would flicker at night, and animals were found drained of blood. Over time, the legend grew. The caskets were not containers, but coffins, and what came out of them was not entirely human. Today, the convent still stands in the French Quarter, and the top floor remains off limits. Tour guides lower their voices when they speak of the Casket Girls. Whether it was fear, imagination, or something truly supernatural, their story remains one of the oldest and most mysterious in New Orleans. Number 9. Madame Lalaurie and her haunted mansion. In the heart of the French Quarter stands a grand 3-story mansion on Royal Street, once owned by Madame Delphine Lalaurie. To the outside world in the 1830s, she was a wealthy and elegant socialite, known for her fancy parties and high status. But behind the walls of her beautiful home, a horrifying secret was hidden, one that would make her name live in infamy. In 1834, a fire broke out at the mansion. When neighbors rushed in to help, they discovered a locked room in the attic. Inside, they found enslaved people chained, injured, and in terrible conditions. The truth about Madame Lalaury's cruelty shocked the entire city. She fled New Orleans and was never seen again, but her mansion remained, and so did something else. For nearly 2 centuries, people have said the mansion is haunted. Screams, footsteps, and cries are often heard echoing through the empty halls. Some have seen ghostly figures in the windows or felt cold hands brush against them. Even owners who tried to renovate the property reported strange accidents and terrifying visions. Today, the Lalaury Mansion is one of the most famous haunted houses in America. Tour guides pass by daily, warning visitors of its dark past. Number 10. The Sultans Palace. Just a few blocks away on Dauphine Street stands another mansion with a chilling legend, this one known as the Sultans Palace. In the 1800s, a mysterious man who claimed to be a Turkish sultan moved in. He threw lavish parties, filled the home with strange decorations, and kept the windows tightly covered. The neighborhood grew suspicious, but no one dared to ask questions. Then one morning, the mansion was silent. Neighbors discovered a scene straight out of a nightmare. Everyone inside had been slaughtered. The so-called Sultan was found buried alive in the courtyard, and no one ever figured out who was responsible. Some say it was pirates, others believe he had enemies from his homeland. Whatever happened, it left behind a dark mark. Since then, the Sultan's Palace has been known for strange occurrences. Music is heard playing late at night, even when no one is inside. Lights flicker without cause, and some visitors report the feeling of being watched or followed. A few have even claimed to see a man in foreign robes standing on the upper balcony, only to vanish in the blink of an eye. To this day, no one knows who the man really was or what took place in that house. But in a city filled with secrets, the story of the Sultan's Palace reminds us that not all mysteries are meant to be solved, and not all spirits rest peacefully. Number 11. The Witch of Gravier Street. In the 1800s, Gravier Street was home to a mysterious old woman who lived alone in a quiet, weathered house. Locals said she never smiled, always wore black, and only came out at twilight. Rumors quickly spread. Some called her a healer, others whispered she was a witch. And when strange things started happening nearby, the stories only grew darker. Pets went missing, gardens withered overnight. Children who played near her yard claimed to see glowing lights or hear whispers in the wind. One man who mocked her fell ill and never recovered. Soon, neighbors avoided the house altogether, crossing the street and lowering their voices whenever they passed. After her sudden death, no one claimed the property, but that didn't mean it was empty. Lights flickered behind the curtains, shadows moved through the house, and passers-by swore they heard her voice chanting softly. Some even said they saw her face in the window, still watching the street she once haunted. To this day, Gravier Street holds on to its uneasy legend. The house may be gone or rebuilt, but the witch's tale has never left. And in a city where magic has deep roots, some believe she still walks there, just out of sight, waiting for those who dare to forget her story. Number 12. The Devil Baby of Bourbon Street. One of the strangest and most unsettling legends in New Orleans is that of the Devil Baby. According to tales from the early 1900s, a child was born in the French Quarter with horns, claws, glowing red eyes, and a scream that could curdle the blood. People whispered that he was the result of a cursed union, or perhaps a punishment sent from something beyond. The baby was said to have been hidden in an attic or secret chamber, far from the public eye. But that didn't stop the stories. People claimed to hear the wails of a baby echoing through Bourbon Street, even when no children were nearby. Some even saw a small figure darting across rooftops or peering from balconies with glowing eyes. As the years passed, the legend grew. Tourists would visit, hoping to hear the cries, and locals warned them not to look too closely into alleyways. One bartender claimed he saw tiny claw marks appear on the walls of his storeroom overnight. Another swore he felt something tug at his coat, only to find no one there. Whether the devil baby was real, imagined, or a mix of both, his story continues to haunt the French Quarter. In a city where ghosts, witches, and monsters often walk beside the living, this little creature has earned his place among the most disturbing tales New Orleans has ever known. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.